Well, all right. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Don't you just love your Monday mornings? Yeah, it is what it is, right? Come on, we all got to deal with it. Let's deal with it with a smile and with some joy of the Lord in our hearts, because that never goes away, right? Come on. But it's good to be back with you. Hope you had a great weekend of fun in the sun and whatever else that was happening in your life. Super Bowl was apparently pretty interesting. I caught the last I don't know, the last minute of it last night, and some interesting things there prophetically, I think. And I'm not sure if I have time to talk about that this morning, but Eagles often represent the prophetic, and having the Eagles winning over the Patriots, I think, is an indication that the Lord is emphasizing that His word, His wisdom is what is going to prevail in guiding the country, guiding our nation. Just my little snap analysis of how sometimes there are prophetic, little prophetic tidbits and things that happen in life. And so that's for free. No charge for that one this morning. Good morning. Good morning to Damien. Wow, dude, first one in. Good for you. There's Jack and Marie. Good morning. Hey, Mark. Good to see you as well. Susan, Lisa, good morning. Good morning. Appreciate so much you guys just jumping in and hanging out for a few minutes. I do. It's just an awesome privilege. So we are still focused on the parable of the sower. And, I'm going through the Gospel of Mark, even though we've been focused on Matthew's account of that parable. Again, I just felt like Matthew's writing just added some additional elements that are important to really understand that the focus of that parable, if you haven't been able to watch the previous episodes, the focus of this parable is more than simply salvation. And listen, I know salvation is super important, but Jesus says that this seed that is sown is the word of the kingdom. And so understanding why, we've got these different kinds of soils and what they do to the word of God in our lives, it applies to every single believer. And so I encourage you to go back and watch the previous ones, starting with last Monday, where we really started to launch into, and they're all over on the Breakfast with Jesus page, so you can pick them up there. And so today, we're going to continue on with Matthew 13:23, where Jesus says that the one on whom seed was sown on the good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and brings forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. And as I mentioned Friday, this idea here of submitting our mental process, our bias, our, just our mindset to the Lord so that He can come in with His word and help us to understand what it really means. That's the foundation here. That's what makes up good soil, is that just our humility and saying, Lord, teach me, show me. And the result of that is that we bear fruit, that the seed that's been put in us has an effect. It has a result. And that's really what the word there is talking about. Bearing fruit, when you really drill down to what it means, right? The core meaning of this is that which originates or comes from something, right? It's an effect. It's a result. And when we think about in the natural with fruit, right? What is that? Well, that fruit, biologically, it's how plants reproduce, right? They create this, thing, whether we're talking tomatoes or oranges or whatever, they create this thing in which are seeds for the next generation. and the fruit is, it's good to look at. It can smell nice. It can taste wonderful, but it's still something that is produced from within that living organism. And you can extend that to animals as well, right? That the seed that is created and the egg that's created, they're being produced from within, and it produces something, right? It releases something. It creates something. See, and this is the thing that I want to focus on with you this morning for a few minutes. It's this idea that we were born creators. Now we know that in Genesis that God said, I'm going to make man in my image, right? Let's make him in our image. And he did. And obviously we understand that we're not gods in the sense that he is, right? We're not omniscient and omnipresent and all the omnis that define God. But there are aspects of his nature that we have because we're made in his image. And some of those aspects include free will, right? We get to make choices. But one of the more fascinating ones is this idea that we have a creative capacity. We have the ability to create, to produce something that comes from within. All right. When I was first taught about this parable, I would hear teachings and people preaching on it and whatnot. It was always framed, this bearing fruit thing was always framed within the context of how many souls did you win? How much did you do for the church and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that isn't there, right? That you can't apply that to this concept of bearing fruit, right? 100, 60, 30, whatever. But when you begin to dig into what bearing fruit really means, what the words really mean, right? It goes so far beyond the religious stuff, the church related stuff, because again, we're talking the kingdom here, and the kingdom is way bigger than the church. So many people throughout the years, and thankfully this is now changing tremendously, but for generations, people were taught that their focus, their destiny was going to be fulfilled within the four walls of the church. All right. I'm here to tell you that is absolutely false. Unless you are specifically called to operate in what Paul lists in Ephesians 4, as that fivefold ministry: apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. Unless that's your specific calling, your destiny is not going to be in the church. It's going to be outside those four walls. And so how does that look? What does that mean? Well, that means that your creativity will be in some way affecting the world around you, right? You're born creative. You're a born creator. We're all born creators. We're born with the capacity to create something. Last night we had our little house gathering, and one of the songs that we sang is that "Great Are You, Lord." And there's that line in there that every time I sing it, I think about this: it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. You see, it's that breath of God in us. It's that spark of the divine, if you will, that he's put in us, that, people who don't know him, I want you to think about this for a minute. There are people that have never entered into a relationship with the Father through Jesus, yet have been able to produce some of the most amazing creative things that have had such impact on the world around us. Just think about the inventions, that we now benefit from. Well, how many of those people, were born again? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that not all of them were. So how is it they were able to create? It's because that element That capability was put into us the moment that the Lord breathed into Adam, right? It says that God breathed into Adam and he became a living soul. That's what we're talking about here. Now, of course, we who are united with him, who are now his sons and daughters through Christ, we've got an added advantage because he's able to communicate and bring revelation to us so easily that we should be far outstripping anyone that doesn't know God in terms of what we're creating, in terms of what we're able to do to bless the world around us. And so this idea of our creativity being an extension of his, for me, it's one of the most fascinating concepts that I've come across in my walk with the Lord, is that he actually wants to continue creating through us, right? That he's designed each of us uniquely to create something that the world needs, that people need, right? That can be a blessing to people around us. And how far that goes, only he knows, right? Only he knows how wide of an influence your creativity could have. The point I'm making is, let's get to it. Let's begin to say, okay, how am I designed to be fruitful in this world? Lord, how did you create me? How did you make me in such a way that I can release something that will bless people, and by blessing people, put them in touch with the blesser, the one who is the blesser, right? So that they can have an encounter with God in some way through whatever it is that I'm called to create, that I've been equipped to create. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm excited about that because, when you really understand this, you realize, wow, man, there's no competition here. I don't have to worry about anybody trying to steal my thunder, so to speak, because whatever God's given me to do is going to be unique to me, because there's nobody else like me. And some say, amen, thank God. But seriously, there's nobody else like you. No one else has your unique combination of traits and characteristics and abilities, passions, dreams, and desires. Nobody else. And so you put all that together, and all of a sudden, it's like something amazing can come out if we understand that, if we're willing to cooperate with him in pursuit of that goal. Lord, I just want you to be glorified through my life. Lord, I want to give you the most glory that I can through my life. And for me, as I've come to understand it, is the only way I can do that is if I live a life where I am fulfilling what he created me for. There's no other way. If I don't do that, then I am not giving him all the glory that my life can bring to him, right? I think about Romans 8, and this is another passage that I think relates to this, where Paul's talking about how the whole creation is groaning, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God, and there's something there that we haven't quite gotten yet. But it's an exciting thing to think about, because it means that we've actually been given the right to so impact and influence creation around us through what we create, that it's like the world is groaning, waiting for us to finally figure this out and start to do stuff that will correct the effects of the fall. What if we could start to reverse some of the effects of the fall on creation? I mean, what if? Please, I'm not teaching doctrine here. I'm dreaming about what may be possible for us if we would just start to think along these lines and all right, Lord, show us, show us what's possible if we'll pursue what you've created us for, what we're capable of in our oneness with you as your sons and daughters in the earth today. See, for me, that's what bearing fruit really looks like. And I'm going after that. I say, Lord, I want to know. I want to know. And for me, that bearing fruit looks like helping God's kids become free to bear fruit. So for me, my role is to help you get free so you can actually bear fruit. And when you do that, when you get free, well, I've just borne fruit by helping you get free. I know it sounds a little convoluted, but that's what I'm talking about. You get such clarity on what you're here for, and as you engage in that, I mean, it's like, wow, awesome. I'm like blown away by what I get to do. All right. So just be encouraged. Whatever your life looks like right now, you're not stuck there. You are not stuck there. Once this stuff starts to percolate in your heart and mind, life's going to change, because you're not going to be satisfied to stay where you are. You're going to say, okay, Lord, let's partner. Let's figure this out. Show me what is in store for my life that is absolutely going to change the lives of people and the world around me for his glory. Come on. It's good stuff. Good morning. Let's see who else we have with us today. Ralph and Rosa, good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Donna, and there's Donka and Linda. Hey, Regina, good morning. Jade, how are you? Fred and Tom and Deborah, my goodness. Appreciate you guys stopping by. This is our little coffee clutch. We 8:30 Eastern. We're here to just have a little time with the Lord and his word, and it's just an honor to do that. Hey, be my share bear buddy as always. If you would please share the video, and we'll get a few others that would join our little friendly cabal. There's my email address. Feel free to reach out if you'd like to do that, or use a Facebook private message. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much. It's good to hang out. Look forward to being back tomorrow around the same time. And until then, you be blessed.